Hello everyone and welcome back to the Retro Recall. I hope you're doing awesome. Can you believe it's been over a month since I've done my last Thrift Finds video? Welcome everybody to Thrift Finds episode 3. Here we go. First on the bench, we have a ViewSonic KU206 Internet Multimedia Keyboard. That's right, nothing fancy about this. When I specifically go and look at keyboards at thrift stores, I look for beige keyboards, DIN 5 connectors, and the old style AT connectors, the PS2 connectors, etc. But I have a CRT that's ViewSonic, and you may have seen that in a couple of my other videos. And specifically, I have never seen a ViewSonic keyboard. So I'd gone to the thrift store a couple times, saw this keyboard there, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to leave it there. And after a few times, said, no, I got to have it. This is a ViewSonic ViewMate Internet keyboard. And what's unique about this is that it was new in box, new old stock. It's never been opened. I mean, it still has the original tape on it. It has the keyboard rest. And here we go. And it's of the USB form factor. There's nothing fancy about this. I mean, it's a multimedia keyboard. It has a whole bunch of different shortcuts for, mail, left browsing, right browsing, etc. Your volume controls are all here. Again, nothing exciting. Just love the ViewSonic logo. The keyboard itself is a bit mushy, but it's not terrible. So again, just as a, who knows, this might become just a daily driver or a spare keyboard if I need it for different projects. But again, for a couple bucks, it wasn't bad to definitely rescue from the wild. So let's move on to our next item. Sticking with the keyboard trend, we have another keyboard here. It is a Fujitsu keyboard. And, keeping with the line of keyboards right now, what really caught my eye about this is that it is a Fujitsu. To me, I only had ever experienced the name Fujitsu specifically with hard disk drives of the era. And this one here is a DIN 5, so an AT style connector, which is really handy on older systems. And I mean, in terms of the actual keyboard, it's a quiet key type touch keyboard. Every key seems to be really good. I mean, it's a little dirty, but nothing that a cleanup could not handle. And in terms of the part number and model information here, I know that I've been asked that before on the channel. It is an MNFKB8725-601. Great to have one of these in the collection as well as for other projects, specifically it having the DIN 5 connector. Okay, let's move on to something else. It seems that all thrift stores only have keyboards. I figure I'll stick with the keyboards for now just because it's been a good month of keyboards. Okay, in this particular case, we have a Microsoft multimedia keyboard as well. I had this exact keyboard, but I think it was like silver and had some black accents and things like that because these came out in different formats. This one is a PS2 version. And again, it's a really tactile keyboard. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's a tactile keyboard. It actually is really a decent keyboard. It's comfortable, specifically with the rest that's part of it. I mean, that is removable if you want to use it, but, in terms of the shape and how it works, again, depending on the setup you're using on one of the older systems that I'm, working with or restoring, it's really nice to have these keyboards. And that's why I keep my eye out for them in the thrift stores, specifically the beige and of the certain connectors. And as I mentioned earlier, for a couple bucks, it's definitely worth having, specifically for the different projects. Okay, let's move on to another one. And here we are, our last keyboard, and I promise this is not a keyboard Thrift Finds video, is a Packard Bell. And I just did the video on the Packard Bell, and I already had one of these keyboards in far better shape than this one is. But again, having Packard Bell, I love Packard Bell. I love Packard Bell systems, and as I mentioned in the previous video right here, always going through the stores, looking for the, looking at different systems and going, oh, I'd love to own one of those. And when I saw this, I just said, you know what, I got to have it as well. And that's two Packard Bell keyboards that I have now. Now I just have to keep my eye out for the mouse and the CRT monitor. But again, having that as well and being a PS2 is definitely a great bonus. Okay, enough for the keyboards for now. Let's move on to something else. Okay, next on the bench is some big box software. And everyone knows, if you watched any of my other Thrift Find videos, whenever I have access to big box software, I definitely go and grab it. And it was a great day. I walked in and saw this. So we have Alone in the Dark 2, free bonus disc with secret doors. It's a $10 value, includes multi-level access disc. A new virtual mystery starring Edward Carnaby. I haven't played this series specifically, but like I said, when I saw this, I said, you know what, it wouldn't hurt to have it specifically to try it out on the channel. But we have the requirements here, which is really awesome. We have DOS 3.1 to 6.2, IBM PC AT or 100% compatible. 386 33 megahertz minimum to a 486 recommended. Imagine saying, oh my goodness, you need a 486 to run this. So you open this up and we can see, but it's in great shape for the age of the software. Okay, so I mean, here we are. We have everything on floppy disks. So that's pretty awesome, and it is fully complete. And, you know, being able to go and install this and play it off the floppy. Plus, it comes out with all the manual as well and all the different controls and how to install it. And, you know, when I saw that, I just said, you know, I definitely want to add that to the mix. And not too often that, you know, I find big box software anymore. It's becoming harder and harder. Oh, look at this. Xmas issue, 22nd December of 1924. Family offers reward. Cops confused. Desperate search underway. Yeah, okay, definitely something we want to try on the channel. Let's move on to our next treasure find. We have another piece of big box software. Now, I have featured Unreal, so I had this originally brand new in store myself. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, when I was younger, the boxes didn't mean anything to me. So I would take the software out, I would go open the box up, and I would just toss the box in the garbage. Well, old me definitely thought, oh, why'd you do that? And I was on the hunt for a copy of Unreal. So when I saw this complete in box, I said, oh my goodness, I am definitely going to go, and especially when it's in such amazing shape, and get it. And again, for $5, I think I paid for it. You couldn't say no to that. And again, another piece of big box software in the collection. Let's move on to the next item. Okay, next treasure that's been found is a sound card with some extra hardware. You have a Creative Labs SB0460 sound card. It's a PCI sound card. When I look it up, it is a X-Fi Extreme Music 7.1 Gold PCI sound audio card. So here we are with by Creative Labs. And what's confusing for me, I guess, outside of just, it does say Creative Labs on here and does give us the model information, but generally they have, you know, something on the silk screen here. I think this is just a really, really good looking card, being a Creative Labs, which I absolutely love, but with the dark silk screen plus the gold plating on the actual card itself. And quite frankly, it's in really great shape from the looks of things. So nice to have that as well. So over here, in the box, we have the drive bay controls. The SPDIF in and out for Creative here. The optical in and out. We have headphone, so it'd be your full regular RCA jack. And then a volume control. We have a couple of line ins there. We have a line in for mic. We have the mic gain control here. It looks like an infrared type control. And then we have MIDI in and out, which is quite dirty inside. And then we have our control board here as well. Then we have, this looks like an audio cable, which goes to your CD-ROM drive. Now, we have a few bent pins here and there. We definitely have some work we probably have to do. This is quite bent here. I'm just going to take that off now, actually, just because it is not on correctly at all and is causing damage. So I'd like to get that kind of cleaned up and sorted out. We have some bent capacitors here, but it doesn't look like there's anything bad on it. But the thing I don't have, and I believe, is that there has to be a cable connected from this to the card. And I don't have that. Now, I don't know if that's just a regular IDE cable that it utilizes to do that. I'm going to have to look that up. Just having that together is really awesome. Okay, we got lots to show today, so let's keep on going. Next, we have some not so big box software. We have the Heroes of Might and Magic 5. Love the old Walmart sticker that's on here, the old style one. But yeah, this was a very popular game back in the day, and I heard a lot about it. I never played it myself, but when I saw it complete in box, I just, for a couple bucks, I had to have it. And I didn't have this as part of the collection, and I've been getting into collecting these smaller box games. They did this to kind of save packaging from the big box software with, the small disc and everything in it, going to more of this style. Overall, it's an absolute great condition and designed for Windows XP or 2000 only. So definitely want to try this out and see what it is. And I know a lot of people, based on what I've seen online and read online, a lot of people liked playing this game. Okay, let's move on to the next item. Next, we have some floppy disks. You can't have a Thrift Finds video without some floppy disks. And when I saw this, I said, you know what? It looks like it's sealed, and it is. We have a sealed pack of 10 staples, formatted for IBM, 3.5-inch discs, 1.44 meg. Whenever I get a chance and I see discs, I get them because eventually they're going to be harder and harder to get. They already are in some areas. When you see them, I grab them specifically when they're sealed like this. And I just really want to make sure that I have them for especially the retro machines that we have on the channel to be able to utilize them in other systems. Okay, let's move on to the next item. Here we are. We have a sealed hard drive. Mine is a little nick in the bag here. So we have a Maxter Atlas 15K to 3.5-inch series, 36 gigabyte Ultra 320 SCSI, SCSI drive. I have never owned a SCSI hard disk outside of a server environment. So this is generally, being the size of it, I imagine this was used in a desktop type environment. This is one thing I don't have. I don't have the cards for this. I mean, I have SCSI controllers, but I don't know if I have the cable to go from this specifically. Where it was sealed and it was there, and I thought, you know what? Why not? Moving on to our next item. Okay, next we have a Microsoft Sidewinder gamepad. I had one of these growing up. For sure, I had done a video new in box. This was sealed. I just loved the feel of this. It really set the stage for some of the gaming at the time. Being able to have that game port, to be able to utilize the game port on the older systems and map all the different keys to the games, it just feels really good to use. And the keys on this, or the buttons on this, feel really good. And that's one of the things I do when I am out thrifting and I see controllers and things like that. I just test out slowly all the different buttons. Again, there's no 100% guarantee that they'll all work. I'll have to test these. But initially, like I said, just by pressing them, you can tell if they're wore out or not. And this feels pretty darn good. When it comes to a couple bucks, it's worth getting just to see if it'll work. And if it does, I mean, you're in the money and you're in the game for utilizing it. Really awesome. Let's move on to our next item. Okay, next we have a couple of drives, and whenever I see a beige drive out in the wild, I grab it. On this particular one, we have an 8X writing on the front here, but it's a DVD-ROM drive, so an 8X DVD-ROM drive. So we have a DVD-ROM drive model, RDR-108H is the model if you want to look that up. Manufacturing date is May of 2000. So nothing fancy, but in terms of the day, back in the day, DVD-ROM drives being part of systems, I mean, that was a fairly expensive purchase when you had to do that. And then until, DVD decoding started coming along, you were utilizing certain video cards to do that. You had a DVD-ROM drive. You could watch a DVD on your computer, and that was fantastic. Over here, I just love this drive. I love Sony hardware. on the hunt for Sony Vaio equipment as well. But we have what looks like a Sony DVD and CD rewritable drive. I just like the look of this specifically. I'd be interested to see if this just flipped down or does it come out as an entire drive. I'm not sure. When I see this stuff in the wild, I love it. So the model number on this one is DRU 800A as an alpha. So we have Sony DVD CD RW drive unit, but a nice looking drive that would look really good in a retro build. Okay, next item. Next, we have a video card. And I'm going to open this up because I know it's not good for them to stay inside these plastic bags. I like to put them in any static bags. So I'm going to remove that now and we'll look at the card. So we have an ATI, and the model of this one is an ATI Radeon 9250, 256 megabyte video card with video out and DVI. So a well-rounded card for sure. I don't know about performance of the specific video card. I do remember seeing them back in the day. It's a Sapphire model. I do recall them being a little more of an entry level, but you'll have to educate me on this in the comments down below. I welcome them because that's how you learn. But I love how it has the NTSC or PAL option on the jumpers. I don't remember seeing that on some of the cards that I've worked with over the years. And then down here we have a date, February 05. So February, or is it May 2nd of 05? Not sure. February 5th of 05 or May 2nd of 05. But either way, it was 2005. But again, if this worked, it's worth, putting in a retro build and doing some testing with it. But yeah, it's an AGP card. So let me know in the comments if this was a decent card back in the day and if it would be worth putting into a build. All right, let's move on. Now, we couldn't have a Thrift Finds video without cassette tapes and other stuff. I love this. I love when I see these out in the wild. And what's really frustrating is that these are getting so expensive now, specifically sealed ones like this. These are all brand new sealed cassette tapes. Oh, except apparently one. This seems to be, no, it is new, but it's just, it's just, oh no, that one's been used. So interesting to see what's on that one. But we do have cassette tapes here. And when I see these, I grab them because, they're getting harder and harder to get. You go online and you're looking for prices and, you can get new ones, but the manufacturers, I'm not sure 100% who's making them, but the ones I've seen online have definitely been quite expensive. And then here we also have a VHS, a blank VHS tape from Zellers up here in Canada, no less, who went out of business years ago. It says $5 for this one cassette tape. So I did not pay that at all for the whole bundle. We got lots more to go, so let's keep on going here. Okay, next on the bench, we have a bag of adapters. Definitely some retro adapters here, vintage adapters for sure. So I'm going to open this up then. So we have all from StarTech by the looks of things. So we have a serial adapter here from DB9 male to DB25 female. So I believe this was used for a null modem connection or a serial connection for a system. So, you can see here, it was $4.99 originally and went for sale for $2. That's one of them. And I think all three of them are like this, but then we have our AT style connector to PS2 adapter. They become very handy, specifically if you're switching from the older style DIN 5 to your DIN or PS2 connector here. So these were $10.75 each originally, and they went on sale for $5. Well, this guy got ripped off. This one went for $2. Really handy to have these when I see these out in the wild, especially new in package or new old stock. Definitely really handy. Okay, let's move on. Okay, next we have a Gravis gamepad, and I loved having this back in the day. I had one of these myself. Seems to be in excellent shape. Different controls here for settings. Now, the only thing it is missing is these had that screw-in type knob that you could use like this for, different precision type movement, or you can just use the D-pad for, for your movement. This specific one, I remember using it quite a bit for Commander Keen, and I just loved using this controller for that. So on top of that, right next to it, and I couldn't believe it, was a Gamepad Pro by Gravis. how I lucked out and walked in and saw these, it just amazed me, because I've been on the hunt for one of these. I saw a couple of these on eBay, and I thought, I'm going to bite the bullet and get one, and that'll be it. I think they're like $30, $40, because I really wanted to get one for my own use. And this one did come with the stick here. So this just actually just unscrews like this. These were famous for breaking off inside there, and it would become very difficult. And most of them you don't get that with. You just get it like this, because a lot of people didn't play it with this. And they just played it with it out. So when they did, of course, they didn't go with it when they got donated or moved on or sold or what have you. This one here has the Pro, so it has the pass-through. So you're able to connect that to your computer for your game port, and then your ability to have another individual play with you if it supported multiple controllers. So very handy to have, specifically in the retro gaming type style. Okay, lots more goodies here. Let's keep going. Okay, next on the bench, we have some zip drive discs. Always on the hunt for the cassette tapes, as I showed you before. And when I searched through them, these were hiding there for a couple of bucks. And I believe they are new, are they? Let's find out. Well, I don't know if they're new or not, but here they are. So these zip disks are for zip drives. These are 250 megabyte disk drives. So this iOmega Zip, that was a format that came around during the wars of floppy drives before the optical media started coming into play. And yeah, I mean, to get these, I don't have a zip drive yet. I have an LS120 drive, and I have the media for that. But, you know, the super floppy, preferred by millions, and they did very well for a long time, but with the advent of optical media, these really fizzled out very quickly. But having these is really awesome, because most of these just went in the trash, and to be able to have these for a future video, specifically if I get a zip drive, which I know I will, I'd love to be able to test that out on the channel. Okay, really cool. Let's keep going. Okay, going from the small software back to big box software. Here we are, the Ultimate RPG Archives. 12 award-winning role-playing games, 12 complete games by Interplay on 5 CDs. By gamers, for gamers. Requirements of 486DX computer, 8 megs of RAM, and DOS 5 or higher with a 1 meg video card, 2-speed CD-ROM drive, or Sound Blaster 100% compatible. So yeah, we have the Bard's Tale. You have to let me know in the comments if you've played any of these games. But we have the Bard's Tale 2 and 3, the construction set Might and Magic 4, Clouds of Xeen. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. We have Might and Magic 5, Dark Side of Xeen. We have Stonekeep, Ultima Underworld, this Stygian Abyss, Ultima Underworld 2, Labyrinth of Worlds, Dragon Wars, Wasteland, and Wizardry Gold CD-ROM version. And this is just an absolute pristine condition. You know, when I saw this in the actual thrift store, I think it was $5, maybe $10, but I looked at this and went, it's still there. I just couldn't believe it. And they're all here. So every one of the games, all the different installations, and the big book here going through all the different games and how to play them. I just think this is such a great collection to have. And it's an absolute pristine condition. The entire box, it was like it was purchased and used once, if it was at all. And when it comes to big box software, and I get that, I just absolutely love to see that in that condition. Okay, let's move on to the next item. Okay, next we have a card of some sort, and I'm taking it out right away because, well, you know what? It's in its protective sleeve there, so we should be good in terms of the static discharge. So we have what looks like a Sound Blaster Live sound card, PCI. I have a few of these, and I know they sound amazing, and they're great cards to test different games on in terms of, and they have great driver support. Here we go, September 21st of 2000, Creative Labs model is CT4830. And, you know, I find this was a common card only because of the fact that I have a few of them. Okay, let's move on to the next item. I don't know what's wrong with me in terms of peripherals, but I'm a sucker for beige keyboards, and I'm a sucker for Microsoft IntelliMice. I absolutely love the Microsoft IntelliMouse. I just find them absolutely comfortable. You know, there's different variations of them growing up. This one's a little worse for wear in terms of the discoloration and things like that, but I've restored a couple of these, and I'm telling you, they turn out great. These just work. The buttons feel fantastic. And that's something that I do as well. This one actually has the side buttons as well. The model number is just his product ID of 55250-576. So I'm not sure if that gives me the exact model information or not, but it being USB, it's pretty compatible. But like I said, I always check the buttons to make sure that, you know, everything is kind of responsive and clicky. Even through the packaging, you can do that. I did that. But yeah, I mean, having these works out very well. They're very comfortable to use and great to have as part of the retro collection. All right, what mystery lies next? Let's find out. More big box software. It's been an excellent month of Thrift Finds, that's for sure. We have Realms of the Haunting, the battleground between ultimate good and evil, again by Interplay. Terrifying 3D adventure. So again, I'm not sure if you guys have played this game or any of these games. And then so it says here, are you prepared for the battle of existence? 5 out of 5, CGW class. This is one of the most balanced games that I've ever played beautifully. So you can see all the different scenes there that you can see in the game, and just the graphics look actually fantastic. Looks like there's some, it says here, digital video, complex plot branching, and a highly sophisticated character interaction system. So it looks like in-video or in-game video. Big box software, they lost a lot out. I mean, I realize we saved the environment. You know, big boxed collections and things like that, like this, were just absolutely awesome to open up. Because, I mean, you had the box art, you had all the different things that come with it. And now, I mean, it's all digital. Today, I mean, very rarely you'll see software for sale that's brand new, specifically in the games. But again, it's all together. It's all kind of came with it, and then has the manual here as well, how to install it, how to access the game and play it. And there's a lot to be, you know, this was part of the experience back in the day. You got the software, you opened it up, you were excited to do that. It even comes with the registration card. You got it, and then you just opened it up, and it was part of the experience. And whoever had these absolutely looked after them. Definitely took care of the software, the games, and they're just in absolute great shape. All right, let's see what exciting thing awaits us next. Next, we have the Windows 98 Black Book. Literally the Black Book. And it's heavy, full of information about Windows 98. So I'm not a huge book collector, specifically when it comes to getting these types of books. I usually collect the Dummies books series just because I think they're really cool. I had them growing up, and so I try to get every one of the ones in the series for all the different operating systems and productivity software. But specifically what caught my eye about this book is, it really claims to be the ultimate problem solver for power users. So you never know all the little cool little tricks that would be in as part of Windows 98. And when you got something like this, it just gives you like cool little tips and tricks. Now, why would I need to know that? I don't. It's just something really cool to look back on and what it was like back in the day when you got a book like this. And this is what they really promoted. What really flagged my eye on this was, it's in perfect condition, the book itself, probably wasn't used much, but is this. It's the software that comes with it. When I see a book with pertaining software that comes with it, definitely interested in popping that in the disk drive and finding out what's on it. It says click install.exe for installation. And so I don't know if it's the book on CD or if it actually comes with a bunch of utilities that can help you with the operating system. So I have several Windows 98 machines, and this specific book this disk is copyrighted in 1998. So definitely want to take this out and try that out as well. And if it's of any value, let me know if you'd like to get that as well. I'll upload that to archive.org if it's not already there. Okay, let's move on to the next item. Okay, next we have Microsoft Flight Simulator 2004. Again, software, but in a metal tin. That's what caught my eye initially on this, was just the metal tin, because I have most, if not all, of the Microsoft Flight Simulator series. I believe I already have 2004 in the regular packaging, but when I saw it in the metal case, I just said, yeah, definitely going to get that. Definitely want it. The planes, the pilots, the passion, celebrating 20 years of Microsoft Flight Simulator. and I can attest to that. It's a great series. So this came with all the software, perfect condition in the software, and then of course the manual as well. Of course, it comes with different upgrade rebates and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I just think this is absolutely really cool when you get these and you find them out in the wild. They're not that expensive. Usually the thrift stores charge between $3.99 and $9.99 for the software, depending on what it is and what they're posting it for. I know prices are getting a little ridiculous, I think, for some of this stuff, specifically if you're finding it local and supporting local. You see these prices online, I wouldn't purchase them, but when you see them in the wild like this, I definitely pick them up. Just really cool to have as part of the software collection. Okay, let's see what's next. Next is something that I find extremely fascinating. I have seen so many videos on this. I've always wanted to try it out. Is the RCA Internet Receiver RW2110. Now, there were different companies that made these for the WebTV platform, and that's what this is. It is the WebTV, Microsoft WebTV Plus. So this is something, it's an internet appliance. You wouldn't require a computer. You would literally plug this in to the TV using the set-top box, connect to the internet that way. It's an internet receiver, so you could browse the internet using your remote and the keyboard utilizing your television. So the easy-to-use receiver provides all the excitement of interactive TV plus the power of the internet, comfortably and easily on your TV. And this was quite popular. This grew quite a bit because not everybody wanted to buy a desktop computer. They wanted to get a set-top box that would be integral to their home theater, and they'd be able to utilize the internet on the TV versus actually having a desktop computer or even a laptop at the time. And this particular box, it came with absolutely everything in it, with all the original packaging. I think this was like $10 or $14.99 or something like that. I was talking to someone online about one in a different area. I said, you know, do you have that? And he said, yeah, I have this. But this is just in absolutely pristine condition. And this is not the one he had, but he had an RCA, and I was working something out with him. And then I walked into the thrift store, and sure enough, they had one. And it's complete in box. I couldn't say no to it when I saw this. I mean, you know, even if I can't get it online, but I think there's a way I can. I believe that they're, due to the retro community, again, such an awesome community we have out in the retro community, they have reestablished the WebTV service on a server just to test out. I believe they have this up and running. I've seen it in other videos where they've tested that. I think it would be pretty cool to test that out on the Retro Recall and, you know, go through it from my own experience. I'm sure there's lots of videos on the web about this already. I just want to bring another part of history back, and this is something really cool, especially in the shape that it's in. Okay, what other cool finds do we have to show everyone? Okay, next we have some software again, and you can't go wrong with software. I just love big box software. And another thing I really loved growing up was operating systems and productivity software. This is Corel WordPerfect Suite 7. This is the CD-ROM version with a whole bunch of different products. I believe my first introduction to this was Corel WordPerfect Suite 8, which I believe I also have the original big box for, but this particular one is still sealed in the original shrink wrap. This gives you a whole bunch of different applications. This was designed for Windows 95. So by having Windows 95, of course, and some Windows 95 systems, it's really cool to have software from that specific area. And this was the competitor of the Microsoft series, Corel. They still have different suites available today, but this came with WordPerfect 7. So that was, you know, everyone knows who WordPerfect is. A big competitor of Word, but WordPerfect was definitely around back in the early days. Sidekick 95, AT&T WorldNet Service software, including Netscape Navigator 2.01. Internet browser, woohoo, awesome. I actually, to be honest with you, I preferred Netscape at the time over Internet Explorer back in the day. Dashboard 95, Envoy 7 comes with 150 fonts and 10,000 clip art images. Yes, back in the day, you had to purchase your fonts and purchase your clip art to have in your documents. Big box software, love the art on them, love them, and specifically the fact that these are sealed. Okay, let's move on. Okay, and before we had Log Me In and Flash Top and Remote Team Viewer, we had PC Anywhere version 9, the #1 seller for fast, easy access to any PC. For the year 2000 compliant, designed for Windows NT, Windows 98, but supports 98, 95, NT, Windows 3.1, and DOS, made by Symantec. The leader in remote access and file transfer, PC Anywhere lets you stay productive even when you're away from the office. If you need to work from home or on the road, PC Anywhere lets you connect to your office PC, retrieve your files, run desktop applications. If you're an IT professional, PC Anywhere lets you remotely support users and manage servers effectively. So you don't need to be in front of your computer. Before remote desktop applications came along, you had to purchase software similar to this. I mean, you purchase software today. That's what you do. You get software that, as I mentioned, whether it's Log Me In or Splashtop or any of the leading competitors, you would go and install the software. You go purchase it and get the software, install it on remote access as a server as well as a client. Yeah, you do that and you'd be able to access your computer from wherever you want. But right now, I'm not going to be opening this for a while. I just love preserving this stuff as best I can. The unfortunate thing with shrink wrap is over time, shrink wrap continues to shrink. And what happens is it starts to crush the box, like it's starting to get a crease here now. I just want to be cognizant of that. I may end up opening it up just to relieve the pressure on the box because, again, I want to preserve this for sure and keep it going. Okay, next item. Okay, next is a Commodore dot matrix printer. Commodore MPS 803 dot matrix printer for use with Commodore 64 plus for Commodore 16 and Executive 64. This is fully operational. I did test it using the self-test, plugged it in, works just fine. I don't have a machine right now. I'm not sure if the VIC-20 can plug into this or not. Definitely really cool to have from back in the day for use with all different. So it talks about the 50 characters per second, 80 columns. Talks about dot matrix, addressable graphics, bidirectional printing, friction feed, cartridge-based ribbon, complete with all necessary cables, and yes, you can still get cartridges for this unit. I think this is just absolutely cool to have, and the coloration of the plastics are still really good, so no need to retrowrite this. And then so here we are in the other option here. So we have tractor feed is not included. So this tractor stuff here. So it'll be manual feed for now. But I mean, it's cool that they actually, I guess it depends on your perspective, but you'd sell that for separately for the continuous feed paper for the tractor feed that you take for granted on today's dot matrix printers or even the dot matrix printers of the late 80s and throughout the 90s, that they wouldn't have included that. But again, anything to do that. But this comes with all the different cables as well required for it. Eventually, I will have a system on the channel that will be able to test this out. Let's keep it going. Next is a video card. So we have the GeForce GTX 700 series, looks like PCIe. And on the back, we have HDMI, DVI, and VGA or SVGA here for our CRT. And then we have some cooling ventilation. That's why it's the double height. And then, so the exact model of this one is, it says 750 on this bulk. GTX 750, PCIe 1G, so 1 gig, DDR5, 128-bit, and then it says CRT, DVI, and HDMI. So I don't have a lot of experience with this outside of the fact that it looks fantastic when I look at the actual card. It looks to be extremely clean and no signs of any damage whatsoever. So if you have any experience with this specific video card, please let me know. I like to feature this on the channel as well. Let me know what kind of build that you would like to see on the channel with this specific card in it. I might add it to a couple of systems as we go through and do some testing. But again, if you would like to see it in a specific build, let me know. Let's move on to the next item. Who remembers these bad boys? The LabTech speakers. These came in so many different varieties, from extremely cheap ones all the way to very expensive ones. And LabTech was synonymous with the 90s and early 2000s in terms of speakers. And, I saw these all the time at different stores. And so I bought these at the thrift store because I said, you know what, I have a few systems we can definitely try them out on. They worked just fine when I tested them, and they are powered, they are amplified. So I definitely want to give a test to these when it comes time on the channel. These just look really cool. Specifically, you had a CRT monitor here and a desktop next to it. Let's move on to our last item. Last but not least, we have a brand new old stock, still completely sealed Hewlett-Packard HP 2000C Professional Series color inkjet printer. Color laser speed on your desktop, saves up to 30% on printing costs, brilliant photo quality on any paper, breakthrough color print speed, an HP real-life imaging system. I was so happy to see this, and thank you so much to the person who has allowed me to get this from them. It says here, it includes Kodak image enhancements. This was the HP's professional line. At the time, I was dabbling in the HP DeskJet 600C, 612C, 670C, but that was more of the consumer home market. And this, even though is consumer, is more of the business and or high-end consumer and professional series. This printer was on for $8.99 US at the time of release. You know, this particular unit would have been purchased up here in Canada and would have been purchased locally where I am. This is literally sealed in box, and it's so big that I cannot show it all in frame, which is just absolutely crazy because it's just such a large printer. I want to do a video on this printer for sure, like do an unboxing of it, showing the difference. I want to have the 670C loaded up next to it and this unit loaded up next to it as well, the HP 2000C, just specifically to see how the difference in quality is. I mean, both are brand new printers. It was new old stock 670C I opened up, and I did a video. That was one of my first videos I did on the channel. Being able to take this and do that, it just makes me so excited. Okay, let's wrap this up. It's been a long video, but so many great thrift finds during the last month and a couple weeks. And here we are at the end. Just so many great things that we have from hardware to software to, you know, just look at all the things that we're able to find. And I tell you, it's just absolutely amazing to be able to bring this to everybody on the channel. So many great things. It just completely brings back a whole bunch of different memories. A lot of it's nostalgic, is useful for the channel. Other things, just to be able to have some backup media in case we're not able to get any more again. And it's just absolutely cool to be able to do this. Please let me know down in the comments your experience of this. You know, what did you have as part of this Thrift Finds episode? Did you have any of these growing up? Did you have any of these? Do you still have any of these today? Let me know your experiences. Please comment down below because, again, I respond to every one of them and I love the interaction on the channel. That said, if you liked today's video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. Hit the notification button, change it to all. You'll be notified it's new content such as this. As I mentioned earlier, leave a comment down below. Share your experiences on the channel that if you've had any of this. And I reply to absolutely everyone that leaves a comment. Thank you so much for watching. Always making new content. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.